Johni Broome is far and away the king of the SEC.
Johnson goes to deny. Step back. Big three.
It's got you here.
Jones doesn't go. The tip by Broome. Up ahead, Harper.
Hello and welcome to this episode of War Eagle Weekly. How we doing, Josh?
Doing pretty good, man. Pretty darn good. We're on a 2-game win streak. I'm feeling it. Or no, is it 3 games? What's the win streak right now? It's way more than 3.
Yeah, it's
okay,
way more than
4-game win streak. Okay, 4-game win streak.
Yeah.
One more.
Stop. Underselling the ability of this team, man. That's ridiculous. But yeah, no, we are on a great win streak right now. Feeling really good since the Florida loss. We got a lot to talk about tonight, but first, let's jump in and make sure to remind the folks that if you're going to be buying some Auburn gear coming up, getting ready for March Madness, make sure you use our affiliate link below. Helps us out a lot. Go to fanatics.com and get ready for March. I feel a long run coming up, Josh.
Oh boy, I mean, at this point, I think we're Final Four or bust at the very least.
Ooh.
Obviously, we want the natty, but I'm pretty sure it's Final Four or bust at the very least.
Yeah, hey, no, I hear you, man. Well, let's jump right into it. Auburn escapes the Arkansas trap game, if you will, after the dominating win against Alabama. There was bound to be a letdown, which actually now it doesn't quite look like that Arkansas game was really that bad of a win after they beat Missouri the way they did. And prior to that, Missouri beat Alabama as their trap game.
They didn't beat Alabama. They put belt to ass against Alabama. They did not hold back.
They did. But this Arkansas game was ugly. I mean, we win 67-60. The game was closer than the score. It just was an ugly game all the way around. Is whatever the Isovich guy, he's the one that was supposed to do good for Arkansas. And
Vladimir is Ivicic.
Yeah, could not do anything other than the 2 blocks to start the game against Cardwell, which is that and alone is impressive.
Yes, it is. But the guy is a 7'2" turd. That's what he is. He's supposedly their best player, and he was jacking everything and anything up in that game, and nothing. I mean, you'd think the coaches at some point were like, okay, quit doing this. You're hurting the team more than anything. I mean, he was a big friggin' turd.
Yeah, I mean, he was their best scorer the last 3 games or 5 games. I think he had scored average 17 points over the last 3 games. So, I mean, I can't blame him, but he's jacking up 9 threes. If you miss the first 3 or 4, it's probably time to try something else.
Yeah,
try something else. Yep. But Johni Broome had an okay game, 7 of 15, 13 rebounds, 3 assists. He had 16 points. Chaney Johnson and Chad Baker-Mazara, those 2 guys did everything that they were supposed to do and more. Chaney Johnson, I told you in the last episode, he is quickly becoming my favorite player. I just absolutely positively love what he brings to this team. And he is electric on the offensive end and pretty good on the defensive end as well.
Oh, absolutely. He's the only player on the team in the Arkansas game that recorded a stat in every single statistic on the scorecard. He does his job, and he does his job very, very well. And it's just whenever we got guys that aren't performing how we're used to them performing, you can always just count on Chaney Johnson to get the job done and boost the team up to where you need them to.
Yeah. And I mean, Johni Broome got his. Everybody else, though, I mean, they played okay. Defensively, I thought they were a lot better in the second half. Although they allowed more points in the second half. It just felt like they were playing better defensively in the second half. But, I mean, it's only a matter of time before John Calipari gets this team going. And right now, heading into tournament time is about the time he usually gets his Kentucky teams going. So, it makes sense that Arkansas is a little slow to get going, right?
Still in the bubble right now?
They're still on the bubble, especially after they beat Missouri. I mean, think about it. They beat Missouri this last Saturday.
Who they got left? Texas, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Mississippi State. I don't know if those games or those teams would get you to burst that bubble. I don't know if their remaining schedule will get them over that hump.
Well, either way, this team just finds a way to win. Absolutely does a phenomenal job. And you cannot be upset with what they continue to show in these wins. Next up, we played Georgia on Saturday, and it never felt like it was in doubt. What did you think?
It didn't feel that way, no. And 82-70, that does not tell the true story of this game. Georgia would not ever go away. And Asa Newell, I cannot wait till that dude gets drafted. I can't wait till he is just no longer an issue for Auburn. The dude's a friggin' baller, but Georgia came in with a really good – he really did. I mean, he's not even a great three-point shooter, but he was off the friggin' charts in this game. And, I mean, I just can't wait till he's gone. Yeah. Just straight up.
Yeah. No, and in Georgia, I thought they played a better defensive game than the first time against us. But offensively, I mean, they were shooting only 31% from behind the arc. And that was all in the second half. In the first half, they couldn't get anything to drop.
I mean, Auburn couldn't really either. We were 27.3% behind the arc, and that's just not how Auburn operates. But when you got the National Player of the Year scoring 31 points and pulling down 14 boards, it's gonna be kind of really hard to lose when the best player in the nation is pulling those stats down.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. And Johni Broome, I mean, he went off in this game. The first half, he had 12 points, I believe. And in the second half, 19. Just looked absolutely dominant on the first half, or in the second half. They started Georgia gave us a problem in the first half with their defense, playing that zone. And it's the first time that I've seen Auburn really not know how to attack a defense. It kind of looked like, I mean, I know they know how to attack a defense, but it took them a little while to get into it. And another thing that they talked about in the broadcast was Bruce Pearl isn't practicing the way he usually does with this team, because he has so many seniors that have been there, done that, and they know what they're doing, but because of how grueling the schedule is. And I think we've started to see some of the sloppiness come because they're not playing, or they're not practicing the way that they normally do. And this team is just so talented and so good and so poised, and they have so much experience that I feel like that's what carries them in these games, and they find a way to win. The end of this game, they just locked down on defense, and Georgia could not score, and Auburn went on a run that included free throws, but they really just ran away with it in the last 2 minutes of the game. Quite honestly, that's what it was, because Georgia was close. It just, again, never felt like we were going to lose this game, Josh.
Yeah, it never did, but there were times I was worried. Like you said, Georgia came in with a really good defensive game plan, and they were playing Auburn really close, really tight to the belt. And I mean, when you got a defense and a team as deep as Auburn, like you mentioned, it's kind of hard to win down the stretch. And I really do feel like this team has been taking plays off during the game more so than they did in the beginning of the year. So I could see them not practicing as hard or as much as they used to at the beginning of the year, because they know SEC tournament's coming up and then March Madness is coming up. So they don't want to wear themselves out more than they have to. But I mean, if you're still winning, you're only practicing at 45% and you're still winning, who cares?
Yeah. And Chad Baker-Mazara makes the start for the first time since the Alabama game, dealing with a little bit of an injury. It was good to see him out there. I still don't think he's 100%, but he definitely did look a lot better, finishing with 11 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. I mean, he was out there kind of doing it all. And honestly, I think defensively, he did a fantastic job. Denver Jones finishing with 17 points, but him and Chaney Johnson got really quickly on the foul line. Or I'm sorry, got a lot of fouls, and it really caused issues for Auburn in the first half. And I think that's why we did so well in the second half is Denver Jones was able to stay out of foul trouble for the most part. I mean, he finished the game with 4. Chaney Johnson never really got into the swing of the game, really. But I think that was, man, a lot of the things that he was doing, I feel like the Georgia team, they kind of learned from the first matchup and was like, Chaney Johnson is a dude. Let's target him and try to get
they
him.
They really centered in on him, and they're like, we're gonna focus on Chaney, make sure their role player won't come in and destroy us when he comes off the bench. But I mean, luckily we didn't need him with Johni Broome doing what he did, scoring an Auburn career high for him, 31 points.
Yeah, and we'll get to Johni Broome's monster game and really dive into that here in a second. Speaking about Chad Baker-Mazara, though, just a shout out to him, 1,000 career points for Auburn. Absolutely fantastic. The guy, man, if I was an opposing fan, I would hate this guy with every ounce of soul that I have. But as an Auburn fan, even when he hurts us, I'm okay with it. I love having his fire and his passion and just the reckless abandon that he plays with. And this year, I think he's gotten a couple of things that are just not fair, to say the least. But he has been better in the sense that he's controlling his emotions a lot more this year than he did last year. Even though he still somehow gets a lot of the crap that he gets, like the technical foul.
I still can't describe how he got the technical against Georgia. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't even know how Denver Jones got a tech, though. Him and
Denver Jones, he went to Chad's defense. I would say Denver was more so the one that should have got the tech than Chad. It was just because Chad is the reason why they gave him the tech. But I don't care. I love Chad. I love what he brings to this team. And offensively, defensively, he just does everything we need him to do. And I could not say enough good things about Chad. And 1,000 career points, absolutely fantastic. And kudos to him for working as hard as he did. It's not easy to do. But Josh, let's dive right into what you've wanted to talk about this whole time. Johni Broome had a career day against Georgia. Not just a career day, Josh. Not just a Auburn thing. Not just a SEC thing. Johni Broome went out there. I'm getting the graphic ready for those listening. 31 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists. No other player has reached those totals versus a Division I team this season. Okay? Ben Simmons is the only other player to even have that in this decade or in the last decade. It's just an absolute monster of a game.
Jeez.
Right? It just you think that, okay, man, this guy had a game and was just phenomenal, but you don't really put it together until you hear that.
Man, at this point, man, I really don't think it should be in any doubt who the National Player of the Year is. I think at this point of the season, 4 games left in the regular season, it's got to go to Johni Broome. One of them is averaging a double-double per game. The other is averaging 1 more point a game than the other. That's it.
Yeah. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. Cooper Flagg is a great player. Is
Great.
definitely, again, we've talked about it a couple of times. He has that it factor that you just don't quite get when you look at his stat lines, at least early in the season. Now it's kind of averaged out a little bit, but you watch him and you're just like, oh, okay, I see it. But like you said, Johni Broome is just –
he's a different animal, man. I firmly believe if you put Cooper Flagg in the SEC, he's still a very good player. He's not in consideration for National Player of the Year. You put Johni Broome in the ACC, it's a one-man race the entire season.
Oh, my gosh. This dude would be averaging 24 points a game and probably
it'd
close
be
to
one-man
17
race.
rebounds.
Yeah, I mean, the ACC is so stinking weak this year compared to the SEC. I mean, that has to be a big, big factor. The quality of opponent needs to be a huge factor in this award. And Auburn, they have 14 quad one wins. How many does Duke have?
I don't remember.
I don't think they have half of those.
No, I don't think they have half either. I don't think they have half.
Let me look it up real quick.
I think Kentucky Tennessee and Florida are the only other ones that have half as many as we have. But I don't think. Now, here's the thing. I just off of what the national pundits have been saying, I don't think Johni Broome is going to win National Player of the Year. I think that's a travesty. I don't think it should be the case, but I don't think he's going to win National Player of the Year. But he should, because of the competition that he's playing against and the fact that the offenses ran through him. This is the most efficient offense in the history of the Ken Palm era.
And that's been around for a while too.
Yeah. And it's because of Johni Broome. I mean, you saw the pass in that Arkansas game where
who makes that pass? Who makes that pass besides Johni Broome?
No one. Not even
Kevin
a
Love,
guard.
maybe. Kevin Love, maybe. But
okay, I'm not talking about NBA.
Who makes that pass? I'm not talking about Cameron.
Yeah,
especially as a big.
That was insane. Me and you both texted each other like, how did he even see him? Which, I mean, there's another angle and there is a clear path that he can see, and that's how he saw him. But
he still put a spin on it. He put a spin on the basketball. It's nuts.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. I wish we could show that replay to those that did not see it.
Duke is 6-3 in quad one games.
6-3.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Auburn is 14-2. Next closest is 9-5 Alabama and Tennessee.
Okay. So it was Alabama and Tennessee. So, but yeah, Johni Broome, the entire offense runs through him. It should not be a discussion about who the National Player of the Year is. I get the Cooper Flagg hype. I really do. But I do too. This should be Johni Broome. You mentioned earlier that that Johni Broome is just out there putting up double doubles left and right. Well, in the last 25 seasons, Johni Broome has 40 double doubles, which puts him at number 3 over the last 25 seasons, right behind Glenn Davis, Big Baby Davis, and Oscar.
Let's hear it.
Oof. Okay. I'll butcher it. Oscar Tueshabe.
I think that's terribly wrong.
Oh, yeah. No, it definitely is wrong. If you are a huge fan or a family member of his, I apologize. Please reach out to us, correct us on the spelling or on the pronunciation. But
is this counting just regular season or the entire season as a whole, like tournaments and everything?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if it counts tournaments. But the thing is, I mean, if it does, Johni Broome had one tournament game in the NCAA for us last year. So this is talking about, career or over the last, 2-3 years that he's been there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know, but it's talking about the last 25 seasons. So it might be including postseason play. I don't know. But I mean, he has 40 double doubles. The dude he does it in his sleep, usually by halftime. Let's just be honest. Usually by halftime, he is right on the cusp of a double-double. So, Johni Broome, this team it would not be where it is without him and without, the work that he has put in the offseason, because he was a good player last year, Josh, but he was not this good. He has made it look easy.
No.
You and I talked about it last week about the need of him being more efficient. And I actually talked about it 2 weeks ago. He needed to be more efficient, and he's gotten more efficient, finishing 11 of 18 in the Georgia game. And I think as he gets healthier, he's going to get more and more efficient. And I think we're getting close to seeing him 100%. He had some explosive plays in that Georgia game where he's running the court and Chad throws that behind, over the shoulder pass to him on the fast break. It did not look like Johni had any issues with his ankle or anything.
No, it looks like he's getting better and better week in and week out.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving right on, Josh, though, one of the things that is a little concerning, and you pointed it out in the Arkansas game, but Auburn in the Georgia game shot 27.3% from three. And then in the Arkansas game, I'm getting it pulled up right now. I accidentally closed it out. But in the Arkansas game, I believe it was even worse than that. Yeah, 16.7% from behind the arc. Should we be worried about the slump that they're in right now at the 3-point line? I know it's only a 2-game slump, because if you go back prior to that, it's actually pretty good. You're right there at 40%. But now, these slumps are alarming numbers.
Yeah, the slump has happened at home. And that's the part that's worrying me the most. Like, you should not be shooting that poorly in your own arena. I don't know if it's like time to hit the panic button just yet. Like, if we finish out their last 4 games of the season, we're still in the 16 to 25% range from deep. Then I'm like, oh shit, something is not right. I was just looking at stats from the Georgia game, and Tahad Pettiford was over from the field, and that's not something you can have from somebody that plays 21 minutes. I mean, that's why JP Pegues started losing minutes, because he was either not throwing, he wasn't shooting the ball, or he was missing everything.
I got to stop you there, Josh. I'm sorry. Let's not compare Tahad Pettiford to JP Pegues, because JP Pegues wasn't playing defense at the level that Tahad is as well. Tahad's not great on defense, but Pegues was getting ran out the gym against Duke. Okay. So let's not go down that.
It wasn't a comparison. It wasn't a comparison.
You compared the two.
No, I said that's the reason why JP Pegues lost minutes, because he was not making field goals. He was either not shooting the ball or would miss every shot he took.
No, he's not getting minutes because of the defense he plays and turns over the ball. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to disagree.
Then why did Zep Jasper get so many minutes? He played defense, but he wasn't scoring the ball. So if JP Pegues was playing defense, he'd still be playing on the court?
Yes.
No. With this team, you have to score. This team, you have to score.
Don't.
Yes.
No, you don't. There's scorers all over the place. Okay. We're getting away from the question, but I think that you are being asinine right now, because Zep Jasper and JP Pegues are 2 totally different players.
Well, I'm saying
Zep Jasper would be playing
there's 2 different teams.
17 minutes a game on this team, because we need a point guard.
For defense? Sorry,
Josh.
Just for defense, though?
I don't care. I don't care that he doesn't score at the level that Denver Jones or Todd Pettiford does. Okay? If he plays defense, and I'm talking about JP Pegues, he is playing. Because Bruce has always had the mentality of, if you go out there and you give me 120% on defense, you can jack up any shot you really want.
I don't know.
I know that's an over-exaggeration on the offensive end, but think about, Dylan Cardwell is a starter on this team, Josh.
He brings more than just defense to the team. He is an energy guy. Rebounder.
Okay. Let's get back on point, because I'm turning red here, Josh. I'm turning red here. Okay, so I agree with you. We should not hitting the panic button. No, about your previous statement. Nothing about the JP Pegues and Todd Pettiford conversation do I agree with. Let's just drop that part of it. Okay, come on. And guys, in the comments below, tell Josh how ridiculous he is and how idiotic that comment was.
I don't think
Okay?
so, man. I think
Okay. And
think
maybe
you're
I'm
just-
wrong. Maybe you're right. Okay. I'm not above saying that maybe there's a chance that
I don't know,
you
Cameron. I would consider
are
this
right.
growth for you for even saying that. I'd
Hey,
say
man,
that's growth.
hey, you got to get better. That's the goal in life. So I agree with you in the sense that we should not hit the panic button. It's 2 games, plus it's at home, which right now this year it really feels like this team is playing better away from home than they are at home.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it
Super
is.
odd.
But think about it. When you're at home, you got a little bit more pressure because the fans are there behind you. You're expected to overperform. You got a little bit more tension. Maybe family is in the arena, or your buddy, your pal, your girl. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. And so, as long as they keep winning on the road and their shooting percentage on the road is better than what it is right now, better than what it is at home right now, then I'm not going to have a problem with it. I think it's okay, especially considering the fact that we have adjusted and found ways to still win. And we hit the big 3 when we need it. Chad or Todd comes up and hits the big 3 when we need it. It really seems like every game.
You can't rely on the big shot when we need it trope. You just can't rely on that. You have to have consistent shooting, not just, we're due for a miracle shot now, so might as well just go ahead and jack it up.
I'm not saying miracle shots. I'm saying on the when it matters. Todd and Chad have ice in their veins. That's what I'm talking about. And Miles Kelly for that matter, Denver Jones for that matter, all of them. I would take all of them jacking up a 3 in the minute that we need it or the second that we need it than anyone else in the country right now. Okay, that's just how it is. But again, getting to the point, tournament games are away from home. So if we were having problems on the road, then I'd be worried a little bit more than what I am right now. But with it being at home, this slump, it's really not that big of a deal. We'll find out come when we go to Kentucky. If we have a slump there, we're going to be in trouble. But we'll get to that later on. Moving right along, which we are over our time limit, Josh. There's no way we're going to stay under 30 minutes. We talked about trying to keep this at 30 minutes. But it's not going to happen because Josh made an asinine comment, and we're just going to have to live with that. Bruce Pearl was named to the Naismith College Coach of the Year watch list. Absolutely deserved. Josh, I think he's going to win it. I think right now, with how many quad 1 wins and the fact that this team is so dominant offensively and this team is so dominant defensively when they want to be, and just the overall schedule that this team has put together, I think Bruce Pearl is a shoo-in for the National Coach of the Year.
I think he also is going to win it. No other coach has done what he's done this. No, listen.
Before this podcast, you said that
I think he would. He's deserving of it. I don't think he will. I think he should win it because he's done things. You see, if you would just shut up and let me finish without jumping to shit, we wouldn't be in these situations, Cameron. Now you look dumb in front of all your little friends. I'm just saying. I think the people that vote on the coach of the year, they're gonna just sandbag Auburn and give it to some other guy like Todd Golden or Dennis Gates at Missouri. Because there's so many deserving coaches out there. Like no one expected Missouri to do what they're doing right now, especially this late in the season. Everyone thought Florida was going to be really good, but no one thought Florida was going to be the number 2 team in the country right now. I do believe Bruce Pearl is the most deserving coach of this award. No other team is close to the Q1 record that Auburn has. No one's even close to the offensive or defensive efficiencies that we've had consistently all season long. No one. So in my mind, he is the most deserving. I just don't know if he's going to get it.
Yeah, and there has always been some Bruce Pearl hate, which I don't quite get. because he got in trouble for feeding kids at a barbecue, at a pool party. I mean, especially when you compare it to what's going on now in college sports, it's laughable that he had a show cause
insane
for that. Hey,
Here,
I'm glad
you can have the hot dog, just not the mustard.
Yeah, pretty much. So either way, I think he's 100% deserving for this award. I think he wins it even with the people that are Bruce Pearl haters, if you will. But you do bring up a good point. I didn't think about how many people actually do hate Bruce.
And, a lot of Bruce Pearl hate doesn't even necessarily come from the basketball side of Bruce Pearl. A lot of Bruce Pearl hate comes from his political side, like a lot of it.
Yeah,
he's very vocal about.
I don't think
that's justified whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's not justified at all. But I'm saying a lot of his hate is coming from so many different directions. And that's why I think he could potentially not win the award, because people they let their emotions get the best of them instead of voting with stats.
That's fair. That's fair as well. So you bring up really good points. A good person is a good person, and you can just tell that Bruce is a good person, unlike a certain other Alabama coach.
Did you see him throw his friggin' clipboard on the court?
Did. Oh my gosh.
What
Did you see
child.
that he had 9 substitutions in the first, I think it was like 3 minutes of the game. 3 or 4 minutes
tell me you
of the
can't
game.
coach without telling me you can't coach.
Against Kentucky. He had but they were down pretty bad against Kentucky at the beginning. Yeah, against Kentucky. And apparently he, gave them the ultimatum before that game, talking about effort, talking about stupid turnovers and stuff like that. And so I kind of commend him for that, but at the same time, I have never been a Nate Oates fan since the 2000 and I think wasn't it 19, the 2019 team.
Not 19. Alabama 2019.
Not 19, 21. The 2021 season with Brandon Miller. That whole thing with Brandon Miller. Since then,
what a joke.
I wasn't a fan. That's all I was getting at. But that's besides the point. Bruce Pearl is a much better person.
There's one thing I don't think anyone is talking about, and I think it's criminal. No one is talking about Todd Gates. I think that's his name, the Missouri head coach.
Yeah.
Calling a timeout with 1.7 seconds left in the game and telling his students to not rush the court. Nobody is talking about that. That was one of the greatest live television sporting events ever. It was
you and I were racing to text each other when that happened. I'm like in the middle of my text, and Josh just comes over all caps. I cannot believe he did that. That's hilarious. It's the greatest thing ever.
We're like, well, was there a foul or something? And all of a sudden he's walking up to the announcer's table. Please do not storm the court. It's just, are you kidding? That's freaking awesome.
I'm sitting here. I got headphones in. I'm watching on my phone, Locked On Auburn. They're talking about the Arkansas game. And I got the TV on mute. And then all of a sudden I see they call a timeout with 1.7 seconds left. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? The next thing I see is they cut to the Missouri coach, and he's on there saying not to rush. And I had to rewind it so I could actually hear what was going on. And so, I agree. That was absolutely phenomenal. Dennis Gates. Yeah, like you said, though, he's done a phenomenal job by turning this Missouri team around.
Yeah, he really has.
I think if anybody should be the runner-up to Bruce Pearl, it should be him. Going over last year in the SEC and to what they're doing this year is just miraculous and amazing. So, but Josh, moving right along, we have another topic. We got 2 games coming up here this week. Let's first talk about the Ole Miss game. We got that coming up on the 26th, which is Wednesday at 6 p.m. And sorry, I got the graphic up there. We know what Ole Miss is. They're still turning people over at an alarming rate, and it should still be a pretty close game. I know last time it felt like we did pretty good last time against them, and it should be the same. But again, if we have that shooting slump that we've been in at home, it could be a really important game. Auburn is up on Alabama right now by 2 games because of Alabama's loss to Missouri. And so it's still important that we win this game. It really is.
Oh, absolutely. It's important. It's the last game of our home games. And then we're traveling to Kentucky to play a team that is hot and cold, but Ole Miss has been lukewarm all season long. So this should be one of those games where what you expect to happen should be what's happening.
Yeah. It really should be. I'm seeing this now. This might be the lowest ticket cost of any of Auburn's home games this year in the SEC play. Tickets as low as $61. Seems a little ridiculous. I mean, usually that number is up around the 200 range.
It's because Ole Miss just lost to Vanderbilt. No one wants to see this dumpster fire.
No, that's fair. They're on a two-game losing streak. So
they're about to get a 3-game losing streak.
No, because they beat South Carolina. Beat South Carolina.
What I'm saying is they're about to be on a 3-game losing streak.
I got you.
Get your head out of your ass, Cameron.
But see, that's the thing is they have nothing to lose at this point. They're playing for everything in that sense. So they could be a very dangerous team. I think we need to watch out for them.
It could be, yeah. Absolutely, it could be. So, I just don't think it's going to be.
Okay. Well, after that, on Saturday the 1st, we have at Kentucky at 12 p.m. on
I do not
ABC.
like this matchup. I do not like this matchup at all.
Yeah. I mean, when was the last time we beat Kentucky at Rupp Arena?
I couldn't tell you. It's been a while, man. I don't even think I'll be able to watch that game, to be honest with you. 11 a.m. on the 1st. Sheesh.
Yeah, 11 a.m. our time, 12 p.m. Central time. Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult for you, but I mean, we'll have to see what happens. Auburn is still favored in this.
Yes, they are.
Matchup. Honestly, it feels. I'm concerned. I don't.
We lose Kentucky, this one, Cameron.
I don't think Kentucky plays good defense. But at the same time, I mean, they held Vandy to 61 points, and they held Tennessee to 64 points, and South Carolina to 57. But they gave up 82 and 96 to Alabama and Texas. So, man, it's hard to say. It's the early game on a Saturday, and it's in Rupp Arena. I get a bad feeling about this, but if we lose this one and win at Texas A&M next week, then I'm not really caring too much because I think Texas A&M is going to be the one that we need to be really worried about. I know that Texas A&M had a really bad loss just recently. Who was that they lost to recently? Let's see here. Mississippi State. They lost 70-54 and then lost to Tennessee 77-69. So I don't know. But Kentucky still worries me. It's just that arena, man. It's the fact that they're Kentucky. I think that's really what it is. Because this isn't a great Kentucky team. It's just it's a good Kentucky team. You know?
I think Mark Pope is going to bring Kentucky back to what it was
in the early days of Calipari.
I think Mark Pope is going to do some really good things. I think he's a really good coach. Kentucky, like I said, Kentucky has been one of the hottest and coldest teams of the entire season so far. You really never know. Like I didn't expect Kentucky to go to a 16-point lead on Alabama in the first half. I didn't expect that, but they did, and then they ended up, dwindling the game away and letting Alabama freaking win, but it is what it is.
I mean, but they got wins against Duke, against Gonzaga, against Florida. Their loss came to Georgia. Like, what the hell? Lost to Ohio State, lost to Clemson. I mean, you really just don't know what you're going to get out of this Kentucky team. They beat Mississippi State. They beat Texas A&M. They beat Tennessee. They lost to Ole Miss, and then they beat Tennessee twice. They ran the floor with Tennessee twice.
See, they're beating the teams that they need. They're winning the games they need to win, but they're losing the games they should not lose.
Yeah, which is scary because, I mean, it's all the ranked teams that they play that they're winning, all the big-time teams. So we cannot take this game lightly. I
could see this being another Florida game from earlier this season. I could see this game being like that. I hope not as well, but I can definitely, especially if our shooting slump continues, I can definitely see that this game turning into that type of game where Auburn is constantly playing from behind. I don't want it to, but I could see it. And I think if we lose any of the games remaining on our schedule, this is the one that we lose.
Yeah.
If we win, I'll gladly eat crow, but I think I do ultimately think we lose this game.
Which, I mean, is fair. It feels like a loss is coming either at Kentucky or at Texas A&M. I think I would rather lose to Texas A&M just because of the fact that they're ranked. But both of these should be
Kentucky not ranked?
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're 17.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Texas A&M is number 7. So either way, it's a quad one game.
Yeah, we have 3 quad 1 games left.
Yeah. I mean, this SEC regular season title, I think, is going to come down to the wire. I mean,
and we have a 2-game lead on Alabama right now, I think, don't we?
We do. What's their schedule coming up? Let's see.
It's a gauntlet, dude.
Is it?
It's a gauntlet.
So they're against Mississippi State on the 25th. They're at Tennessee versus Florida, and then at Auburn. Yeah, that's rough.
That's rough. A freaking gauntlet. There's no way they come out better than 2-2 in that series.
But, dude, think about it. If we lose at Kentucky, how much pressure does that put us at Texas A&M?
We still have a 1-game cushion. At the very least, we have a tie with Alabama. But, again, there's no way Alabama comes out. Yeah, there's no way Alabama comes out better than 2-2 with the remaining schedule. So at the very least, we're still going to have at best a 1-game lead. There's no way.
Oh, I hope you're right. I really do. Needless to say, I think it's going to be a nerve-wracking ending to the season. Josh, we've been in here for more than 40 minutes talking to the folks. Let's go ahead and let's end this tonight. Before we get out of here, though, again, use our affiliate link below if you're looking to buy some Auburn gear. Go to fanatics.com. Get ready for March Madness. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. March coming up. The end of February is just going to be phenomenal as well with the games that we got going.
Swear to God, if we get Yale in first round.
Oh, I would love it. We would absolutely destroy them. This team would absolutely destroy. Chad Baker-Mazara may score 35 points on his own.
He could unless he decides to elbow somebody else.
So I don't think that's going to happen. Chad's a lot more poised this year, even with some of the issues he's had supposedly. But yeah, so well, Josh, tell the people where they can get us.
You can get us on TikTok. You can get us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Anywhere you get your social media, you'll find us. I mean, we're most active on TikTok and X and YouTube, but we're all over the place. Come hang out.
Hell yeah, Josh. War Eagle.
War damn Eagle.
Johnson goes to deny. Step back. Big play.
It's got you here.
Jones doesn't go. The tip by Broome.